AVV Nation, all of YouTube, what's going on? It's Patrick with VectorVest back with you once again with 3 stocks that you need to keep your eye on this week that all have earnings coming up. So if you're ready to see which plays that I like the best so far this week, make sure as always smash that like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and with that, let's jump right into it here today. All right, welcome back everybody. So before we take a look at the stocks that we have planned for today, I first wanted to point out a feature inside the VectorVest 7 tools that you may not be aware of. So under the viewers tab, as you can see at the top, you have the event viewer over on the left-hand side. And when you choose the event viewer, you can now get all the upcoming earnings dates plus dividend information. So if you're somebody who likes taking advantage of earnings calls because they tend to have big pops and drops afterwards, this is a great place to go to find potential trading candidates for yourself going forward. So with that, let's go take a look at the 3 stocks that we have for today though. So we'll go into the watch list that I have created already. And these 3 stocks are outside the typical norm of stocks that I bring to your guys' attention. All 3 stocks are outside of the more tech heavy focus or the FANG stocks. And these are 3 stocks that all have great earnings potential and also could have a huge, nice blast off after their earnings announcements later this week. So as you can see, the 3 stocks that we have for today are Love, because we've seen airlines talking about how they're having record bookings and they're still seeing strong traveling going on. So Love could definitely see a nice pop from that earnings call. The next one is Northrop Grumman, which is an aerospace and defense stock. Aerospace and defense is by far one of the safest, best sectors out there, especially with what's going on over across the pond over in Europe right now. And we did just see Lockheed Martin coming in beating earnings as well. So this could give us a little bit extra insight on what to expect from NOC. And then last but not least, Enphase, which is one that we talk about quite a lot here on the channel. It's been one of our top VST stocks from time to time. We've been really following this stock since it was in double digits, and the stock still continues to perform phenomenally throughout the years. So first and foremost, taking a look at what we have here, what the data is telling us. As always, we start off with the basics such as the company's name, the symbol, the exchange, price, dollar change, percent price change, bid and ask prices, but then we get to the value. And the value is where you really start to see the power of VectorVest that you're not going to be able to find anywhere else. The value is what we currently feel the stock is worth, and the way we use the value is we compare the price of the stock to its value. So if the price is above its value, then that would mean the stock is overvalued. If the price is under its value, then that would make the stock undervalued. Looking at it here, we can see Love is currently undervalued, but NOC and Enphase are both currently overvalued. So just because they're overvalued doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It just means you're paying a premium price for that stock at this time. After the value, the next 4 indicators are all going to be cast on scales of 0 to 2, and above 1 is good and below 1 is bad. So looking at it here, 2 out of the 3 have an RV rating above 1, and RV stands for relative value, which shows the long-term potential of the stock over the next 1 to 3 years. The next indicator is the RS, or relative safety, which indicates how much risk is involved with the stock compared to the average stock out there. And as we can see, 2 out of 3 once again have RS ratings greater than 1. Love being the one that comes in with a little bit more risk than the average stock out there. But due to the current market environment, we look at the RTs, and all the RTs are barely above 1 or well below 1. So right now that tells us they're either moving sideways or in a downtrend. Well, with an earnings performance that beats expectations, good revenue, and good positive guidance going forward, that could easily change that RT around. Now, if you're not familiar with it, the RT is standing for the relative timing, and it looks at the short-term price trend of the stock. So if they were above 1, it tells us the short-term trend is up. Below 1, the short-term trend is down. And then the 3 indicators that we just referred to, the RV, RS, and RT, are all comprised to come up with our master indicator VST, standing for value, safety, and timing. and it's a great overall view of the stock from both a fundamental and a technical basis. Now, with that, let's go ahead, jump into the graphs, and take a quick look at the charts. Because as we always talk about, a chart is like a big picture of a stock. And as the old saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So we'll go ahead and graph these and pull them up. And before we take a look at the charts, I do want to remind you guys, coming up tomorrow at noon Eastern, right here on the VectorVest YouTube channel, kicks off our first session of the Trading for Charity event. So make sure to be there as I do some live trading, answer your guys' questions to help you become better traders, and also teach you some proven successful methods that will help you gain financial freedom. Also, we've got a lot of great giveaways and stuff too, so you won't want to miss out on those. All right, so getting into it, let's start off making sure everybody's familiar with what we're looking at. So we see the price shown in candlesticks here. Then below that, I have the MACD and stochastics, two of my favorite technical indicators. And then below that, earnings per share. And then below that, the volume. So mainly, especially going into an earnings call, earnings per share is definitely going to be of key importance. Now, VectorVest earnings are a little bit different than what you're most likely used to seeing. VectorVest takes a blend of both historical earnings performance plus a forecasted earnings performance as well. So when you look at our earnings and you see it steadily rising, that tells you not only has the company been consistently making money quarter over quarter, year over year, but they're also expected to continue to make money going forward at least 12 months down the road. And as we always say, earnings is the engine that drives stock prices higher. And if earnings are growing, price should steadily be growing as well over the long term. But recently, taking a look at the 1-year chart, has been in a steady decline, even though the company is making money and expected to continue to make money. Well, at this time, we do have a potential bullish divergence forming, which suggests that upside potential may outweigh downside risk at this stage. To demonstrate that bullish divergence, I'll simply connect these lows here. And then over that same time frame, looking at MACD, which is more of a momentum indicator, we can see MACD is hitting higher lows as prices hitting lower lows, therefore not confirming that lower low and suggesting once again upside potential may outweigh downside risk. But how will you know when to take advantage of it or when that bullish divergence is really starting to take hold? Well, that's where we would move this trend line up here, connect the highs. We still have a while to go before we get back to that downtrend line here. But look for a breakout above this trend line for a longer term entry. But for a shorter term entry, if earnings are positive, good forward guidance, we could see it gap up, easily retesting this downtrend line and giving us a nice profit potential as well. So this is our first stock that we have on the list here today. I like the chart. Chart is looking solid. Price action moving in the wrong direction currently, but the company is making money, and that is going to be the engine that drives stock prices higher over time. So moving on to the next one, NOC. NOC has steadily rising earnings, has flatlined a little bit, but looking at it here, a nice steady price action from bottom left to upper right. It is pulling back a little bit here today, but what we could look for is a potential support resistance zone, roughly right around $500 a share. But if we get a positive earnings beat, expect to see this continuing to blast off and getting a nice big run in the near future. And then last but not least, Enphase. Enphase has been one that consistently makes money quarter over quarter, year over year, continuing to make money. And with this most recent pullback with earnings coming up, this could create a great potential buying opportunity to take advantage if they beat that earnings performance, see a nice pop back well above that $300 range, heading back to new highs, which was currently at $324.84. So with the pullback, it's coming down, finding a weaker level of support, but still has support nonetheless down here around 235-ish or so. So with it holding and earnings coming up, stochastics is oversold, finally starting to creep out of that oversold territory, which tells us there's more upside potential ahead. This could be a great mover after that earnings call. So hopefully you guys keep your eyes peeled on these candidates here today. All three have steadily rising earnings, consistent growth, and that's really going to be the engine that drives stock prices higher once again. So keep an eye on these. Hopefully, if you guys do take advantage of them, hopefully they bring you some extra profits to add to your portfolio. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Once again, on these three stocks, are any of these ones that you're currently holding or potentially looking at for an earnings play coming up this week? And last but not least, don't forget, tomorrow, noon Eastern, right on the VectorVest YouTube channel, we kick off our first session of our second annual Trading for Charity event that you won't want to miss out on. So I look forward to seeing you all there. Now, until the next one, take care, adios, and toodles.